É isso aí. Estamos ao vivo. Facecam ok, microfone ok, gameplay ok. Então fala galera, eu sou o Drey e bem-vindos mais uma vez. Fala Conrado, já tá no chat aí. Boa noite, mano, tudo bem? Rapidão, gente, deixa eu só pegar o link da live para eu poder usar aqui no meu segundo monitor para vermos o chat. E daí eu já começo a jogar. Fechou? Desculpa o atraso aí, gente. Atrasei uns 7 minutinhos. Eu tive um imprevisto aqui com as legendas em português do jogo, mas tudo resolvido. Vamos ver aqui, ó. Lererê, lererê. Eita, cadê? Deixa eu ver se o chat tá na mão. Aí, beleza. Chat na mão. Vou colocar aqui, ó. Eita, peraí. Aí, agora mil maravilhas. Beleza? Tudo certinho? Vamos lá, dar aquela última verificada, ver se a conexão tá ok. Bora. Então, primeiro de tudo, eu queria agradecer o meu brother Panon, que inclusive é um dos apoiadores aqui do canal, porque foi ele que deu esse jogo aqui de presente pra mim. Inclusive faz muito tempo que ele deu esse jogo pra mim e eu só pude trazer ele agora, né? Não tive tempo de trazer antes e tal, enfim, nunca bateu certinho os horários pra trazer, mas agora tô conseguindo jogar esse game aqui. Inclusive, ó, Panon tá aí no chat. Boa noite, Panon, beleza, mano? E, cara, nunca joguei esse jogo, não sei exatamente do que se trata. Eu só li uma sinopse sobre ele para eu poder colocar aí na descrição do vídeo. E sem enrolação, gente, vamos nessa. Vou dar um iniciar jogo aqui e vamos ver o que é The Stanley Parable.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day.
Estranho que eu tinha ativado a legenda, mas ele não está com as legendas aparecendo.
Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in,
Enfim,
as though he had been made exactly for this job.
vou esperar acabar a cutscene aqui, daí eu vejo se eu esqueci de
And
ativar
then
alguma
one day,
coisa.
something very peculiar happened. Something that would
Opa, não, obrigado, mano. Tamo junto. Valeu aí pelo superchat. Pelos 2,20. Tinha esquecido da tradição da grana da paçoca. Valeu mesmo, mano, de coração. Então, Panão, peraí. Deixa eu ver se eu esqueci de ativar a legenda. Ah lá. O espertão aqui esqueceu de ativar a legenda, né? Aí não vale. Vamos começar desde o começo. Vamos ver essa cutscene legendada, né? Senão, sem graça. Legendas e closed captions. Vou colocar... O que eu coloco? Apenas legendas, né? Então vamos recomeçar. Não, pera.
This is the story of
Agora sim.
Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Certo, já começamos a controlar o personagem. Aqui tá fechado, aqui não dá pra fazer nada. Esse jogo aqui,
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
ele dá susto?
Stanley decided to go
Oh,
to the
no.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Acho que por enquanto não dá pra eu interagir com nada, né? Senão já teria aparecido aqui. Beleza, então eu não vou tomar nenhum jumpscare aqui, né? Isso já me deixa um pouco mais sossegado, porque jogo em primeira pessoa, pra mim, eu tô acostumado com jogo de susto, né? Então é bom saber. Tá certo, entendi. Gente, tá tudo fechado. Entendi, Panon.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ele entrou na porta à esquerda. Beleza. Na porta 430. Acho que eu não passei ainda. Ou passei, nem percebi.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Ah, era no começo. Depois eu volto lá.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Será que tem aqui pra baixo? Eu tenho que seguir o que o cara tá falando, é isso? Que o narrador tá falando?
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number, 2845. But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Aonde que é o bagulho que ele falou? Não... Aqui.
Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Pior que eu nem vi onde que abriu a passagem, mano. Ah, aqui. Então eu posso não seguir o que ele tá falando. Certo.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long. Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Opa. Tem como escapar, é isso? Vamos ver.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Eita. Então tá, vamos ver. Vamos dar game over no jogo já.
The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track. At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Me matei, é isso?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent,
Não dá pra pular aqui?
brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Ferrou.
"Farewell, Stanley," cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Tá, não morri.
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Gente, que brisa.
When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
É o PC do Stanley. A planta do escritório aqui. Mano, que brisa, velho. Como assim esse final? Isso aqui é um final? Entendi nada. Ah, peraí, tipo assim, se eu continuar aqui eu não vou chegar em lugar nenhum, eu não... Tenho que resetar? Cara, que doido, velho. Não tô entendendo. Mano, como assim eu escapei do jogo, velho? Eu nem comecei, eu nem entendi o jogo. Tá, aqui é onde...
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time choose.
Ah, daquela hora eu não morri, agora o bagulho matou eu mesmo. Fala, Conrado. Beleza, mano? Então, o texto não foi traduzido, né, mano? Travou o jogo? O texto daquelas salas lá, acho que os caras esqueceram de traduzir. E aí? É pra acontecer isso mesmo? Ficar nessa tela preta? Será que eu tenho que reiniciar agora? Pera aí, vamos recomeçar isso aqui.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Entendi. Então, eu achei que, tipo, eu tinha que desobedecer, tá ligado? Tinha que desobedecer as vozes que falavam com a gente. Achei que essa que era a brisa do jogo.
When Stanley came to a set of two open doors,
Tá, ele falou pra ir pela esquerda, vamos pela direita
this was
agora.
not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Onde que vê os achievements? No extra aqui, né? Pera aí.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Entendi. Tá, já vou ver lá, peraí.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please, stop trying to make every decision by yourself. Now, I'm not asking for me, I'm asking for her.
Caraca, mano, que da hora. Eu não sabia desses achievements.
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's been waiting. That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you... Oh, no, you can't... Did you just unplug the phone? No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly? I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white.
Eita, eu acabei de desfazer um dos finais do jogo.
It's actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
Choice.
Meu Deus.
It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real
Aqui ele vai dar um tutorial, sério, pra mostrar pra mim que eu tenho que fazer as escolhas certas. Por que não tá legendado
Or
aqui?
he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which
Acho que aqui dá pra legendar também, né?
choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find
É,
yourself...
então, estranho que tá sem legenda. Tá, vamos recomeçar de novo.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Vamos por onde eu não fui ainda. Cara, isso aqui, tipo, não é um jogo, né? Quer dizer, eu não sei se é um jogo.
This was not the correct way
É
to
um
the
simulador de desobediência.
meeting. Perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Vamos ver que caminho que eu não fiz ainda.
Yes, this room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his
Eu não
left.
cheguei a entrar nessa porta aqui que ele pediu.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Acho que eu não entrei aqui ainda, né? Pô, vou fazer aquele final de novo depois, então, só pra ver. Ver se agora tá com legenda.
To the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left. Oh, no, it's to the right, my mistake. No.
O louco, o cara tá trolando, hein?
Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking? It's clearly... Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please? Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way. No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes. Okay. Just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Mano, ele mesmo reiniciou pra mim agora. Então, Panon, se pá, vai estar com legenda lá agora, porque eu ativei um bagulho aqui, ó. Cadê? Aqui no vídeo, não, no áudio, eu coloquei legendas e closed captions. Daí eu coloquei closed captions. Será que não é a legenda naquela parte lá daquele vídeo? Não sei. De qualquer forma, eu faço de novo.
What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley... Wait, what? No, I restarted. I swear I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh.
Eita, agora não tá aberta as portas.
Or did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley.
Eita.
Let's find the story.
Tá. Mano, é um labirinto agora.
I'll say it. This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it a shot. Why not?
Meu Deus, tipo, era um labirinto sem fim ali.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean?
Parece tipo PT, só que sem terror, tá ligado?
Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Aquela demo do Silent Hills lá.
Okay, yep, it's worse. I might be remembering.
Agora não tem porta.
It's possible the
Tô ficando
story
doido
is
aqui.
back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Tá bom.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes. No, wait. Never mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Mas... Tinha essa porta aqui antes? Nossa, já mudou tudo de novo. Meu Deus.
Now this... Well, I'll be honest. I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe...
Ai, meu Deus. É
building.
o jogo mais louco que eu joguei.
Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work, and it really paid off, so good job.
Gente, o que tá acontecendo?
No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay, I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time, I have to restart.
Meu Deus, de novo. Caralho, tá bom, vamos
All
lá.
right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed
Muito
the
bom.
help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Tá, então beleza.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward,
Até agora eu não consegui desviar o caminho e achar outra porta
is
aberta.
inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself. Okay, Stanley, I need to follow this train of thought for a minute. Just stick with me. Now, we can both agree that the nature of existence is in fact a byproduct of one's subjective experience of that existence.
Exatamente, essa aqui é a parte que eu tô mais me sentindo bem.
My experience
Onde
of
tem um caminho pra eu seguir.
rests inside of your subjective experience of this office. Is this office, in fact, the skeleton of my own relative experiential mental subjective construct? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that. You know what? I think what we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
Do nada. Começa uma musiquinha aqui.
Cut the music, go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Tá. Beleza.
Wait, what? We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
Ô, louco. Voltou tudo... Ô, louco, voltou desde o começo. Eu tinha vindo aqui já? Acho que já. Ah, entendi. Pô, pior que eu fiquei olhando a samambaia achando que, sei lá, ia ter que memorizar alguma coisa dela.
Still missing the doors. Did we make a mistake following the line? Perhaps we could have found the story on our own.
Boa noite, Baratrix, beleza? Tá, não tem nada aqui, mano. Daqui foi onde eu vim, né? Como é que tá fechado, mano? E agora? Onde que eu não fui ainda? A gente tem que achar a história juntos. Gente. Que viagem é essa, velho?
Oh, no, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through...
De novo vai reiniciar.
I can't take this anymore, to hell with it. Restart.
Meu Deus. Tá, vamos lá.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story?
Eu voltei lá, não voltei, até tentei interagir com o PC.
Mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction?
Tá, vamos por aqui então.
Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine. Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
Mas se eu quiser por essa aqui? Não dá.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall.
Mas se eu tivesse pego outro caminho, ia entrar na mesma sala, né?
Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really... No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean... did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule?
Então eu vi aqui.
No. Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait.
Cabaratrix, esse último cancelado de 2016 que você tá falando é aquele Redemption?
I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime...
Eita. Lá vamos nós.
All of his co-workers were gone. Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition.
Essa aqui que você falou pra eu ficar clicando, né, pra dar um achievement.
I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing true effort for a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
Tá, resetou então.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Tá, vamos pela esquerda de novo. Vamos ver o que eu não fiz aqui ainda.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might find an answer. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Eu não vim por baixo ainda, né?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished?
Tinha que tentar 50 vezes lá pra conseguir o achievement, né?
Something occurred to Stanley.
Ah, depois eu tento.
He thought to himself, maybe...
Vai que ele esteja me tapeando. Primeiro ele falou 5 vezes. Depois ele falou 20. Daí 50, ele ia ficar pedindo mais e mais. Do jeito que esse jogo aqui é zoeiro.
And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating?
Nossa, eu entrei num looping aqui, mano.
This is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming! He yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the
Eita,
ground.
tô flutuando.
Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much
Eita, o
fun.
negócio ficou brisado agora.
Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all,
Gente, não vai acabar o looping?
that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
Caramba, Baratrix, eu não sabia, mano, que da hora. Então é um projeto que nem tem nenhum rascunho pela internet. Porque o Redemption até teve um trailer, né, que a galera achou anos depois. Mas esse projeto aí não tem nenhum vídeo?
Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please. It's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine.
Esse aqui é um final também alternativo, Panon?
I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Meu Deus do céu. Cara, nunca joguei nada parecido com isso. É muito brisado.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Por acaso, aquele cara morto ali não era o Stanley, né? Ou era o Stanley? Tá, vamos pegar o achievement lá.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it... Oh, please. Are you really just doing this for the achievement? Click a door 5 times. Is that all that you think an achievement is worth? No. I can't just give these merits away for such little effort. A measly 5 clicks. Now suppose you were to click the door 20 times. I would say that's the kind of effort that warrants recognition. I have to say, I'm still not feeling the satisfaction of witnessing
Eita, era o Stanley, mano.
a noble cause. Perhaps 50 clicks will do it. Yes, almost certainly 50 clicks.
Eu vou continuar apertando aqui.
I'm still not feeling it. I want this achievement to have meant something. It has to be a true reward for valiant effort. I want to see some hustle, Stanley.
Meu Deus,
I want to see commitment, a willingness to go all the way, no matter what the cost. Why don't you go put 20 clicks into door number 417?
Ah, mano. Esse cara tá de tiração. Então, a Baratrix, acho que tiveram uns projetos que eles nem saíram da parte inicial de desenvolvimento, né? Por isso que não tem trailer, não tem rascunho na internet e tal. Aquele do Redemption já tem até um trailer, porque acho que ele tava, tipo, num processo bem avançado, assim, né? Desenvolvimento. Agora, esses outros que você falou, talvez não tenha nenhum, porque Tava bem no início, né?
Oh, great. Now, go click a few times on door 437.
Reflexão. Stanley só aperta os botões que aparecem na tela para ele apertar. Passa o dia todo fazendo isso, todos os dias. Ele gosta disso. Pode crer que ia jogar videogame. Mano, eu apertei várias vezes aqui já, velho. Não aconteceu absolutamente nada. Desisto. Tá,
When
vamos
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
tentar ir por aqui. 437, não era 417? Tá, peraí. Acho que já. Foda que acho que já fechou, né? É, fechou. Agora já era.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he... Oh no, no, not again. I won't be part of this. I'm not going to encourage you. I'm not going to say anything at all. I'm just going to be patient and wait for you to finish whatever it is you enjoy doing so much in this room. Please take your time.
Take your time. E se eu ficar aqui? Qual que é o final do Broom Closet? É nessa sala aqui, né? Pode crer, Baratrix. Você chegou a ver que o remake agora do The Sands of Time foi resetado? Ele está em processo inicial de desenvolvimento novamente. Esse remake do The Sands of Time eu acho que só vai sair, mano, daqui uns 2, 3 anos. Ah, pode crer, Panon. Acabei me distraindo, cara. Eu não entendi que ele falou 417, 437. Você perdeu a maior parte do Broom Closet quando saiu antes. Como assim? Eu não saí daqui, né? Ah, entendi. Putz.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office. Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean?
Como que era a senha mesmo?
Wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly
4825, não era?
on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy, so he relaxed for a few moments with some calming New Age music.
Bota uma música New Age aqui, mano. Então, mano, só 2025 também, acho. Entendi, Panon.
Soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
Não, relaxa, Baratrix, pode falar aí, mano. É que esse jogo aqui, conforme o narrador vai falando, ele vai dando tipo umas dicas ou vai dando umas ideias do que a gente tem que fazer, né? Mas pode falar aí pra gente trocando ideia, assim. Caraca, Panon, quantos finais tem isso aqui? Que doideira, mano. Eu vou tentar fazer aquele primeiro final.
Stanley walked
Aqui, ó.
straight ahead through the large door that
Porque
read,
na primeira vez eu fui pelo
facility.
lado do escape, né? Não fui por essa porta aqui. Eu vou tentar ir por essa porta aqui.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
18 finais, meu Deus.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's
Nossa, mano.
the lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his
Paratrix, eu tô ansioso pelo Assassin's Creed Mirage, que vai sair em outubro. Que, inclusive, comprando na pré-venda, parece que vai ter uma skin, né, do Prince of Persia.
he refused
Eu acho que ele vai ser o Assassin's Creed mais próximo do que poderia ser um novo Prince of Persia, né?
someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable.
E agora, onde que isso aqui vai me levar,
Was it even
mano?
possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Entendi, Panon. Cara, que bizarro, velho. Eu nunca joguei nada parecido com isso aqui, mano.
But here was the proof.
É muito louco porque são muitas possibilidades, né?
Controls labeled with emotions, happy or sad or content, walking, eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Aqui há o código do jogo, mano. Meu Deus. Se a gente desligar isso aqui. O que aconteceu?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him.
Então, porque aqui eu segui certinho, né, o que o narrador pediu. Quer dizer, não segui...
Perhaps his
Na primeira vez eu fiz outro caminho, mas aqui eu segui como se estivesse
no longer
fazendo tudo o que ele pediu.
where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door.
Dá pra seguir aqui? Mas é só uma tela, né? Ou... Ah, não. É um cenário mesmo.
Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility
Mano, que doideira esse jogo.
path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen.
Ah, pode crer. Na versão Deluxe também dá pra adquirir, então, a skin. Mas se comprar a versão normal, talvez não dê pra adquirir essa skin do Prince of Persia depois, né? Tipo, no jogo e tal, separado. Porque acho que a versão Deluxe tá bem mais cara do que a normal, né? Então, a Baratrix, eu zerei algumas vezes já o jogo, tipo assim, dependendo do jeito que a gente zera, ele reseta, tá ligado? Entendi, Pano. Cara, muito doido, velho, essa experiência desse jogo aqui, velho. Tipo, você falou que tem 18 finais, né? Até agora eu zerei em quantos finais? Uns 5? 5 ou 6.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Mas é muito maluco porque, tipo,
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
a princípio a primeira coisa que a gente pensa em fazer é seguir o que o narrador tá falando, né? Até que aos poucos a gente vai sacando que, tipo assim, a gente pode seguir por outros caminhos e tal, e isso vai meio que irritando o narrador. E foi o que eu fiz nas primeiras vezes e tal. E é muito louco. Eu achei que, tipo assim, todas as vezes que resetasse, ia ser o mesmo caminho e eu ia ter que ir encontrando jeitos diferentes de zerar. Mas tiveram momentos ali que até os cenários mudaram, né? Eu entrei, tipo, em loopings infinitos, em portas que não tinham antes, tal. Nossa, é muito louco, velho. Fecha a porta e fica na sua sala. Vamos ver. Ixi, mas agora minha sala fechou. Ah, muito doido. Acho que eu, como, não sei, por curtir jogo linear, por talvez eu, tipo assim, seguir mais a ordem dele, tá ligado? Putz, a Baratrix, isso que é foda, mano. Tipo, eu não sei se eu vou pegar por 50 conto a mais, tipo, pra pegar a skin só pra pegar a skin do Prince. Mas eu queria muito jogar ele com a skin do Prince, tá ligado? Eu vou ver como que eu vou fazer.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to
Eu vou
admire.
tentar fazer mais um final aqui e mais o final do
A work of art. But eager to get back to
de ficar na sala do Stanley
took the first open door on his left.
pra ver como que é.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years
Se eu
ago.
descer aqui, ele morre? Com certeza, né?
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Tá, mais um final aí. Agora eu vou... Como que fecha a porta dele aqui? Aqui.
But Stanley simply couldn't handle the pressure. What if he had to make a decision? What if a crucial outcome fell under his responsibility? He had never been trained for that. No. This couldn't go anywhere except badly. The thing to do now, Stanley thought to himself, is to wait. Nothing will hurt me. Nothing will break me. In here I can be happy forever. I will be happy. Stanley waited. Hours passed, then days. Had years gone by? He no longer had the ability to tell. But the one thing he knew for sure, beyond any doubt, was that if he waited long enough, the answers would come. Eventually, someday, they would arrive. Soon, very soon now, this will end. He will be spoken to. He will be told what to do. Now it's just a little bit closer. Now it's even closer. Here it comes.
Eita! Esse monte de papel no chão aqui.
How long was I sitting there? Stanley wondered to himself. Minutes? Days? Centuries? Did something crucial happen while my senses were turned? He made a note to be more careful with time from now on.
É, também é uma opção, né? Esperar uma promoçãozinha e tal. Porque Assassin's Creed cai de preço rápido, né, mano? Pelo menos os anteriores que lançaram, depois de uns meses de lançamento, já caíram o valor. Esse Mirage é o que eu mais tô ansioso pra jogar, assim. Eu sou muito fã do Assassin's Creed 2. Mas o Mirage, como vai ser muito na pegada Prince of Persia, eu tô muito ansioso pra jogar ele.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Eu vou tentar fazer mais um final aqui antes de encerrar a
Yet there
live.
was not a single person here either.
Daí depois eu vou encerrar para não ficar tão tarde.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer
Eita,
there.
ficou fechada a porta aqui agora.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Entendi, Panão. Ah, aqui acho que eu não tinha entrado ainda. Tá, deixa eu resetar. Qual que é? Daquela da plataforma lá?
All of his
A
co-workers
plataforma fica na direita, né?
mean.
Ou na porta da
Stanley
esquerda?
decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Pois é, Baratrix, eu não curto RPG no geral, assim, eu não curto nenhum jogo de RPG. E o Assassin's Creed, quando eu tava naquela pegada RPG, putz, eu tentei jogar um ou outro lá, mas eu não gostei. A Baratrix, acho que eu já fiz uns 6 ou 7 finais aqui no jogo. Eu vou fazer o último aqui antes de terminar a
He
live.
entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Tá, quando a plataforma estiver se mexendo, eu pulo de cima dela, é isso, Panu?
Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first... But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
Ah,
There's
entendi.
someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance.
Então, eu tentei jogar o Horizon, também tentei jogar The Witcher, e mesmo assim esses aí não me pegaram, tá ligado? Tentei jogar Final Fantasy XV, tentei... Mano, eu tentei vários RPGs, assim, pra ver se eu começava a curtir o gênero, mas nenhum deles me
Now listen
Me
carefully,
prendeu.
this is important. Stanley walked through the red door. Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Não, eu vou pela azul.
All right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you wanted?
Muito bom,
Was it
mano.
worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically
Ai,
for
muito
you?
bom.
Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game
Agora não dá pra ir pela vermelha, né?
to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Vamos ver se ele fica bravo comigo se eu der nota 1.
A 1? I mean, I can understand if you had reservations, you saw ways the game could be improved to more fully express itself mechanically and artistically, but a 1? That's not even helpful. What am I supposed to do with that? But I guess it isn't my place to judge.
Era aquele final mesmo que você queria mostrar pra mim, Panão?
In the previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be
Exatamente, Baratrix. Eu curto mais jogo linear, assim. Tipo, inclusive aqui no canal eu trago bastante gameplay de jogos assim de plataforma lineares e tal. São os que eu mais curto mesmo. Eu não faço live todos os dias, mas ultimamente eu tô trazendo lives com mais frequência, assim, tá ligado? Pretendo fazer lives com mais frequência ainda, né? Umas 3 por semana, 4 por semana, mas por enquanto não tá dando tempo. Tem que ir lá de novo?
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up. In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting
Meu Deus,
the
que
demands
horrível.
of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Tem que jogar por 4 horas. Ai, mano.
You heartless bastard. Did
Meu
you do it
Deus.
because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game?
Mano, tem um final mesmo pra ficar 4 horas apertando o botão? É sério? Meu Deus.
Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Do nada eu tô no Minecraft, mano.
At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making
Gente,
things
como
for
assim?
you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then. Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course, and just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But
Nossa, mano, não acredito, velho.
you've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Gente, do nada, eu tô jogando Minecraft, do nada.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light? Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Meu Deus. Jesus. Cara, é muita coisa, velho.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it.
Que isso?
You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Gente, que loucura, velho.
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte. Genius.
Caraca, mano. Não, as referências são muito foda. Mas é tipo, mano, Stanley Parable é um jogo infinito, tá
I
ligado?
really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these
Eu não
games.
imaginava que eu ia... Eita. Voltei pro universo do Stanley. Que doideira, velho. Nossa, muito louco. E agora? É tipo o escritório lá, só que é abandonado, né? Aqui é a salinha dele, não é? Não. Que isso? Entendi, ele desistiu. Mano, é isso. Eu acho que eu vou encerrando por aqui. Queria agradecer o Panon mais uma vez por ter dado esse jogo de presente pra mim. Foi uma experiência muito doida. Eu nunca tinha jogado nada parecido. Inclusive, o jogo é muito maior do que eu imaginava. Eu achei que era só um looping infinito e ficar tentando procurar finais naquele escritóriozinho e tal, mas, mano, depois que a gente entrou no Minecraft, no Portal, tá ligado? Agora eu tô curioso pra saber quais são os outros finais e quais outras possibilidades que o jogo pode entregar pra gente, né? Mas, Panon, valeu mesmo, mano. Obrigado de coração pelo presente. Obrigado aí a vocês que assistiram e trocaram ideia comigo aqui no chat, né? O Panon, o Abaratrix, valeu mesmo por comparecer aí. Então, Abaratrix, geralmente eu costumo começar umas 8, 8 e meia. Aqui hoje eu comecei um pouco mais tarde porque eu tive compromisso às 8 horas. Mas, geralmente, assim, depois das 7 eu tento trazer live aqui, né? No canal. Então, valeu mesmo, gente. Muito obrigado aí pela força. Caso tenham esquecido de deixar o like na live, aproveita para deixar agora. E caso tenha alguém aí que não seja inscrito, aproveita para se inscrever, que isso me ajuda demais. Beleza? É isso, galera. Vou ficando por aqui então. Boa noite a todos